That is so frustrating, isn't it? You know, you've played two really good shots. This is the first hole, got it green side, and then just, you know, completely duffed your chip. Now, there was a pretty big technical error in there, which I will go through in this video, but this video is about really refining the strikes of your chips, so we don't get that one. Or, of course, thinning it, hitting it clean, sends it over the back as well. So today is all about striking your chips well. We'll go through a couple of simple technical things, and then a fantastic drill that really helps you refine your contact with the ball. Now, if you enjoy the video, then please click subscribe as always, and it helps me make more videos like this. And if you hit the bell icon, then of course you'll be notified of all the videos, you know, going forward. Okay, back to our hour chipping then. I mean, that's probably a familiar situation for many. I know I am, you know, I'm capable of that myself. So first off, let's have a look at you know, the key technical. Well, the big technical error there was that I'm in Bermuda grass, which is really grabby, but it would be the same in any grass with that error. I leant the club forwards a lot, and I actually towed it down, so I closed the face. So we can see that there. So if that's the face square, I turned it in so it's sort of pointing left, and you can see how that, as it points left, it's the toe end of the club here that kind of digs into the ground, and that will embarrass you every time. So first up, if you want the club to be, you know, to be sliding through the grass in a way that doesn't dig in, then we need to be using the bounce. You know, and there's other videos on the channel here all around using the bounce, but let's keep it short for now. Essentially, what that means is not leaning the club forwards too much. So there's only a very moderate amount of shaft lean. So my hands would be over the ball maximum. And I also like to lower the handle a little bit and open the face. So that combination of, back to my demonstration here. So leant forwards and turned in, awful. If I have no shaft lean, open the face a little bit and lower it, now the club is sitting on its back edge. It's sitting on this kind of back inside edge, and you've got every chance of the club sliding. And when you have the confidence that the club is going to slide, then you're more likely to actually be willing to hit the ground. So if you're a player who thins the ball a lot, this is the same thing. People who thin it are generally scared of hitting the ground. So, you know, same fix really. So first of all, let's set up in a way that is going to encourage us to use the bounce. So ball in the middle. I would have my sternum ever so slightly left. No shaft lean, open the face. Now that is a good place to start, and I'm trying to return with it pretty much in the same position with next to no shaft lean. And in the motion there, the club's going back and through the same amount, and I'm just turning my chest a little bit as I go. Let's have a couple of goes there, shall we? Now you'll notice as I do this, there's a real procedure that I go through. And this would be what I do on every chip shot on the course, actually in practice as well. So we've established, you know, we've established the technique for general purposes. And there'll be other videos where we go through various errors, but let's use the time we have in this video to really work on refining that skill and that awareness of how we strike the ground. So first up, I would ask you to do take a Goldilocks approach to your skill building. So Goldilocks, you'll remember, you know, she broke into the house and she had I can't remember now, a bed that was too soft, one that was too hard, but then there was one that was just right. Similar approach here. So we are going to bring our awareness to, in our practice strokes, the type of contact we're making in the ground, and after every contact I want you to say to yourself whether your contact was too light, too heavy, or just right. Do you want to just come in a little bit, Louise, so we can see the contacts I'm making in the grass. Now the mark you'll leave will depend a lot on the ground conditions and the type of grass, but what I've got here I would say is just right, just right. That was not as heavy as it looked, but this grass really grabs you, but certainly too heavy. And then of course we've got, oops, too light. So let's see if we can really hone in on that middle ground. Okay, so now I've got the feeling of what just right feels like. Incidentally, just right for me is a feeling through the ball where I'm pulling the handle up and away from the ground. Now that's a really interesting one. You would think as you pull the handle upwards, the club would come off the ground and you would top it. But of course it's working in an arc, isn't it? So as we pull the handle upwards, the club continues to move down. It just shallows out the bottom of the swing. And we know from studies on this that the best players in the world, their handle is indeed moving up as they strike it. So that's quite interesting in itself. Anyway, back to the challenge, back to our Goldilocks challenge. So I've established the right kind of contact. There it is again. Can I then deliver that exact contact to the ball? Now I brought a foam ball with me because oftentimes, you know, when there's a real ball, there's a kind of an intent and a history around it, and moving from that into the ball is just too difficult. So the foam ball, I use it a lot with yippers as well. The foam ball is about being able to keep our focus on the ground contact and ignore the ball entirely. So I'll establish the right contact, hit the foam ball, but feed back to myself the ground contact. Now clearly on that occasion that was not the same as my practice, so something had gotten in my mind there, with the ball being there. I need to do some more rehearsals before I get into hitting a real ball. Okay, back with our foam ball, just right, bit heavy, just right, ignore the ball. Yeah, good ground contact, just right. Again, the foam ball's purpose is for us to kind of unhook our attention from the ball and still be able to think about the ground contact even in the presence of a ball we're trying to strike. And for many, that is the issue that goes on with their chip shots. They can deliver the ground contact in practice, but when the ball is there, you know, something else goes on. And you know, it's a pretty common problem as well. I wouldn't suggest that is unusual in any way. So you've done a few of those with the foam ball. Can you then go through that same process with a real ball? Just right, just right. Okay, can I keep my attention on the ground contact only and ignore the ball? And then of course afterwards, just ask yourself, how was the ground contact? Now I would say there that ground contact was slightly heavier than my practice, but here's the great thing. It's heavier, but in a way that hasn't affected my strike. So my awareness field is, and my kind of skill now is much tighter than the margin for error. So I can afford to be a little bit lax because I've been practicing into such a fine corridor, if you like. So then that becomes, so you've done a bit of that in practice, and that becomes our pre-shot routine, exactly the same as I did earlier. And of course it works off all lies and stances. So if I've got an uphill stance like I have here, I need to adjust myself and I need to adjust the angle of my swing accordingly. But if we are coordinating ourselves around that task of scuffing the grass, then we should be able to make sort of small changes in our setup and in our arc quite intuitively. So there we go, and already I've kind of slipped into the feeling of moving with the heel and scuffing with the heel. Right, back to our shot here then. So I picked a landing spot, face slightly open. Good, good. Okay, step in, don't think about the ball. Can I deliver the same ground contact? Lovely. So you might want to ask yourself, if you do this video if you do this exercise and it really helps, you'll probably found that you had too much attention on the ball, and that was really kind of driving your movement. There's often a lot more to these things than just technique. If you enjoyed the video and it's helped with your chipping, then please let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you click subscribe and the bell icon, then you'll get more videos just like this one.